Okay, what's up, everybody? It's your good friend Lukie, and today I'm going to talk about a fighter's identity, which is what the fight between Arnold Barboza and Kenny Sims came down to me, or how I saw it. And what I saw in this fight was Arnold Barboza clearly knows who he is as a fighter. He knows that he's going to throw some volume, he's willing to box, and then if a fighter's not on his level, he'll put pressure on. Kenny Sims Jr. is a phenomenal boxer, albeit at the weigh-in, he looked a little thin. Not sure how he made the weight or whatever. Barbosa filled out quite nice, almost looked too happy at the weigh-in, etc. But I don't read too much into that. The big thing that I'm seeing with Kenny Sims, and we're going to try to not focus on the guy that lost more than the guy that won, but I think this is interesting to talk about, is that you, seeing, he's not known for his power, right? He's a brilliant boxer who's good at the mid-range, who has good hand speed, good feints, and ability to box, a tricky fighter, right? And in this fight, and there's been a pattern basing back to, got to get this guy's name right. He's a tough hombre who's one of the underrated fighters of this era. I gotta say his name right because he has four losses. Batir Akhmedov. So since Kenny Sims fought him in 2023, I've noticed that there's a difference in his temperament, that he's kind of coming forward and he's willing to exchange, and he's willing to fight in the pocket, etc. I also think that Arnold Barbosa is someone where, not unlike one of my favorite fighters of these past 20 years, Alexander Povetkin. Povetkin doesn't wow you with one trait, but he knows who he is and he's a lot better than the tape suggests. Barbosa is someone who I think doesn't ever underestimate an opponent. He comes in very professional. He comes in and maximizes his ability, and that's his superpower. He started his career on club shows, selling tickets, and now he's headlining big cards for big money. It's a huge achievement. And I also think he's taken a lot of humble pie. And to do that, I think he often fights guys. And in this instance, I think this could have been one of those where people look at his style and say, I have a lot of advantages over this guy. I have a lot of advantages. I can do this. He can't do that. And Barbosa's unfazed. And he comes in with an identity, and he comes in and knows who he is. And he treats every fight as though it's a really, really big fight, because every fight is a big fight. But what I saw with Kenny Sims is, it looks like a guy who's a mid-range fighter, a good boxer, who's trying to reinvent himself as a puncher, who's going to sit in the pocket and break guys down. And quite honestly, that's not the most fascinating style for him. I think that the best version we ever saw was Elvis Rodriguez. That was a fight where he forced Elvis into certain exchanges, was able to get off punches, was able to make it a calculated fight. In this fight, he tried to press and break Barbosa, and Barbosa just kind of made the fight his own fight. He fought a fight that he knew he could win, and Sims never really adjusted. So it wasn't really on Barbosa to make the fight better. Some nights it's better just to win, and Barbosa was clearly winning. For the fight to be good, it was on Sims. I think for Sims, there's a question in a couple of ways. Is he now trying to be a puncher and an inside fighter, which might not be the best style, in my opinion, for him moving forward? Have tough fights caught up with him. You know, that Batir Akhmedov fight in 2023 was physical, it was a fight of the year type fight. Oscar Duarte is the type of guy who can age you. Those are two really, really hard fights. And the Elvis Rodriguez fight, though he made it look easy, that's another physical fight. And early in his career, he had other fights. I think that right now, I'm starting to wonder, is Kenny Sims more focused on maybe being a coach? It seems like he's someone that has good relationships with people in the gym, is his mind fully in the sport. So I think that this fight showed where both guys are at. I think that maybe some of those fights are catching up to Kenny Sims. I think both guys are about pretty similar. I think the difference in this fight, the separation came from Barbosa's kind of work ethic, and Barbosa never assuming anything. Always a chip on the shoulder guy, and I think he's used to people underestimating him, and he gets stronger when people go, "Oh, this fight's not as easy as I thought it would be." And I think that's what happened. I'm not saying Kenny underestimated him, but I definitely think when he got in there, things that he thought would work were not working, and that can be very, very frustrating when you get into a fight, when you're expecting things to happen and they're not happening, and the adjustments aren't happening as quick, because Barbosa, like I said, a lot of what he does doesn't look amazing on film. A lot of what he does is he works his butt off, and he's someone who he's kind of like a football team. And I know Arnold's a big football guy. He's like a football team that's going to kick field goals and run the ball and play for possessions. A lot of time it's not going to be the fan favorite, but he's won and he's beating a lot of quality guys. And it really feels to me Barbosa is a solid main event fighter and someone that maybe the only guys I think you can pick over him are Hall of Fame boxers or fringe Hall of Fame boxers. Anybody that's not really in that conversation at this moment, I don't think they can beat him. And I think that the world always looks at him as kind of a regional level fighter, and he's much better than that. He's a quality top five, top six level welterweight right now. He might even be higher than that. And in this fight, I think he just showed a different level at this stage in the career where Sims is really good, but he's having trouble getting past a certain point of fighter right now for whatever reason. And Barbosa is that level of fighter. So it showed how, in my opinion, the identity of the fighter plays into where you go, especially as you get older, because you have to really, as you get older, you have to be more strategic and you have to play to your strengths. And I think in this fight, Barbosa played to what he's good at, and Sims at times really leaned into stuff that I don't think people look at and say, man, that's what Kenny Sims gives me the most issue with. And I think that that was the story of the fight.